And as we feature another weatherization agency throughout this Weatherization Day, today we get to move up into the Fox Valley area and talk with Jason at ADVOCAP. Jason, thanks so much for coming on and talking to us about your operation up near Fond du Lac.
No problem. Great to be here.
So tell us a little bit about ADVOCAP. I know it's another CAP agency, been around since 1966, but you guys have a lot of programs there, right, that you help people with?
Yeah. In the different counties that we serve, we're doing some pretty major things. The Head Start program in Fond du Lac and Green Lake County is something that ADVOCAP administers and been doing for a long time with a lot of success. So we've got all those kids taken care of in those geographical areas. But in addition to that, I mean, there are small business development programs that we have, and a couple pilot things we do with transportation and vehicles for people. That's a pretty major need in our area. And business development for small businesses is a great thing that we see to come a long time too. There's a food nutrition program. Some of those Meals on Wheels or home delivered meals is something ADVOCAP does in Winnebago County. There are some volunteer opportunities that we kind of facilitate between different partner agencies that we work with. And there's a lot of affordable housing, homeless programs that we do, self-sufficiency coaching type things with individuals as well too in our area. And that's in addition to our weatherization program.
Right, you've got plenty to manage up there, but that's great. I really appreciate as we look at Weatherization Day and all the agencies around the state. That's one thing I wanted to do with this today was kind of show people, look, there's organizations all around the state that help orchestrate the weatherization program that bring those services to people in their area of the state. And I just want, showcase some of you guys. So with weatherization specifically, about how big is the program you do? Like how many households, how many people are kind of impacted in your area every year?
As kind of a general guideline, we're doing like about 200 houses on a yearly basis, like year in and year out, over and over again, basically. And sometimes that's an extra dozen or more, or sometimes it's a few less. And then there's always kind of, the variability that maybe we get a large multifamily building or something like that we can get invested in. But about 200 households are served by us in the weatherization program every year.
And just to let us know again, what's your total service area for weatherization, all the counties you serve?
Yeah, the counties are Winnebago, Fond du Lac, and Green Lake. So, you might be familiar with it's just a little sliver of Appleton, but then all of Neenah, Menasha, down into Oshkosh, down into Fond du Lac, kind of around Lake Winnebago, and then moving south and west into more rural territories.
I'm just pulling up your site here so people can see that too. The ADVOCAP website, you just go to services and then in home energy conservation, you can find all about the weatherization program there. I know that HE Plus has, especially with COVID and everything else that's been happening, has an online application now. What are other ways that people can contact and reach out to apply and get these services?
Well, on the same webpage, if you've got internet access and you can visit us at advocap.org, you can go to the contact drop down and find my personal email, and you can link to that and shoot me any questions or application information as a program director right down there for the weatherization department. And that'd be a good way. I can always get that to the right people. Or if you have any other questions about the things that we do here, I mean, these are good spots to start conversations with people about things. Or you can give us a phone call. As you see, there's a location down here. I'm actually sitting in the lovely Oshkosh location. So if you want to talk specifically about weatherization, you can give us a call there at 426-0150. I've been with ADVOCAP since 2005 and did start as an insulation installer, as a crew guy with a couple other people that are doing some big things in weatherization to this day as well. But so a couple of years of doing that hands-on work, 5, 7 more of actually kind of managing projects and doing energy audits and some inspections, and then a couple more working with our subcontractors as well and doing procurement. And then for the last 5, 6, something like that, as a program director. So kind of rose through the ranks here and continue to really love what we do.
I think it's really interesting, having people like yourself to bring that perspective to the program director role. What do you think that does, kind of being able to start out, doing the actual work, and now in your role now, how does that benefit you and how does that benefit the agency?
Well, in a lot of the staff that we have, I mean, not the majority maybe, but there are several that have been around with lengthy tenures, because it is a good place to work. It's a great program that makes you feel good, and the work that you get done, you can see the accomplishment of it. But I'm able to relate to what they're doing out there on a daily basis. And as much as weatherization practices do change, over the course of time, and the advent of new technologies always bring something new every other year. But there's kind of a mutual respect that this guy handled it at one point, and even though we've got to kind of listen to some of these rules and things that we have to abide by all the time, and this is how we get successful work done. Yeah, I think it's a good relationship that we can form, because I've had some experience doing almost every other role in the in the weatherization program here with ADVOCAP. So
You know what it's like to be in a 120-degree attic. You know what it's like to
mhm,
be in an attic when it's -20 outside. So that 140-degree difference, you've
yeah.
experienced it, which is not something that everybody has done. So I think that's pretty cool. One other thing about this program, we dig into the benefits a little bit more, but there are a lot of benefits to the weatherization program. Kind of talk a little bit about that, what the program provides to, the recipients, but then even beyond just the actual house that you're working on.
There's several different perspectives that you can look on where the benefits come from. I think at the most basic level, you've got households that are applying for that need a little assistance, and that that financial assistance is always something that's going to make an impact with them. But it just makes a ton of sense to make sure, almost first of all, that their houses, that the homes that they live in, are as energy efficient as possible. And if we can make those improvements, it cuts down the demand for energy assistance in the first place, but then it also impacts their monthly budgets. The money that they save, I mean, I always kind of say, like, nobody really likes, it's almost a given, you have to write a check to the utility company all the time. But if you can reduce that amount, you keep it in your pocket, and then you can use it. If you save it to cut down on stress for emergencies in the future, or if you need to put it towards necessities like food and education and transportation and employment opportunities and all these things that we understand our needs in our community. I mean, it goes to local businesses if you're going to spend it. So it's successful on so many different levels, and it's such a cumulative effect that we serve so many people on a local area, a statewide area, and on a national level. That yeah, weatherization makes a big impact.
Yeah, I think understanding that whole breadth of where all the dollars that are invested, where they all go and what they all do, I think is pretty remarkable. The way I look at it and have talked about it is it's an investment in the house, it's an investment in the neighborhood, the community, and people,
Mhm.
and other local services, which I think is fantastic. Do you have a story you'd like to tell us a little bit about either a coworker, a recipient of the services?
We do customer surveys, of course, and the vast majority of them come back are always so positive, and people share, their gratitude for what was done. And of course, we're looking at, how we served them and the positive outcome of everything, and how people did really. But we always had this quote from Judy in Nina that she said she had lived in her house for 43 years, and this was the first time that she's ever been warm and toasty. Well, that was a long time ago, and I personally audited that house, so I always kind of had this, kind of relation to it. But that 43 years, I think if I said it correctly, was recently broken, because just last year we had somebody actually drop another um, lengthy amount of time on us, and she happened to say, this was Lois in Menasha. Because of the added insulation, the other things the workers did, my house is the warmest it's been in 48 years of living here. So
Wow.
now we have a new record holder at 48 years, right? And you can kind of look at those quotes a couple different ways. The first thing I think is, well, they've lived there a long time, and maybe they've been uncomfortable for that amount of time, but now, and hopefully, weatherization has made this change that hopefully they can stay in those houses even longer than they've already resided there. I think they can live more comfortably, they can live more affordably. They're going to have probably improved health and less stress in life. You also kind of think about the work that's going on today, right now as we kind of speak, and as we watch these videos, and the impact that on younger families, on people that are going to live in these homes for 30, 40, 50 years down the line, and the reduced energy consumption, the reduced consumption of fossil fuels and natural gas and everything like that, and electricity, the impact on the environment, the impact on their budgets, the impact on our communities. I mean, that adds up over the course of time. And it's a dollars and cents kind of things a lot of times, but it also is the the effects over the course of time.
All right, Jason, real quick before we go, tell us again where everybody can find out more about ADVOCAP.
Sure. Online, of course, it is advocap.org, and our local Oshkosh office, if you want to talk to me, if you want to talk to one of the admin assistants, about applying yourself, if maybe you have an elderly, a parent or a relative, a friend in our service area that you think might benefit from what we do, 920-426-0150 is the best number to give us a call.
I've got to retract that. I have to ask you one more thing since you brought that up. Tell people who can qualify for these programs, because I think a lot of people think, oh, it's just for senior citizens, or oh, it's just for this group or that group. Tell us. I mean, it's for anybody, right?
We serve renters, we serve homeowners, we serve young families, elderly people, anybody that would be eligible for that. People that live in mobile homes, apartment buildings, single family residences, duplexes. There's really not a person that wouldn't be eligible for a particular reason, as long as they are applying for and income eligible for that energy assistance program.
All right, Jason, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for all your dedication and work at ADVOCAP as well. Keep up the great work over there, and we'll catch you again soon.
Yeah, my pleasure. Good to talk to you.